What's cracking, YouTube? This is Terrell with Seven Kingz Trading, and we have another installment of our level series. Um, been a little under the weather, so I do apologize for not getting back a little sooner. And there has been a lot of activity, so yeah, kind of we could be on episode 5, 6 by now, if I wasn't dealing with a little cold that I was dealing with. Not COVID, fortunately. So yeah, just dealing with some regular stuff, the old school sickness. But yeah, let's get over to the charts and kind of see where we're at. And when we left off, we were waiting for um USD or AUD USD to get back up to these levels up here. We had ran through this level here. That was a loss that we took, and we were kind of working our way back up here. As you can see, we got close to the level, but we didn't get to it. And that's, one of those things. So, like, if we were to kind of zoom in a little bit over here, right? If we went with this entire order block right here, or even I do believe the entire supply candle, there is a good chance we would have got hit. Yeah, see, but and this is on the 15-minute chart. So the reason why I bring this up, I like to really pinpoint my entries, and so I always go down to the 3 minute. That's kind of like my sweet spot chart. And when you do that, there are going to be those times where you miss out on trades. And so if you do deal with, FOMO, if you have the whole fear of missing out issue, then you might not want to zoom in as much as I do. You might want to stay on your 15-minute chart and kind of go with that. Um, there's pros and cons to both, right? If you can see, if you were to get in here, let's pull our entry tool out real quick. If you was to go here with it, you're looking at a stop loss of roughly 10 pips, which isn't bad. But that means to get your 3 to 1, you got to get 30 pips, right? Opposed to a stop loss of 3. So you're talking 30 pips compared to 10, pretty much. And so again, pros and cons. I missed out on it, so I didn't get anything out of it. If you were going with the 15-minute chart and the supply candle off of it, then you would have gotten uh, your 3 to 1 easy. It looks like so. Um, yeah, your style, once you learn how to do this properly, you could go ahead and choose your style. What we're doing isn't teaching you to do exactly what we're doing. We're teaching you the concept of where price is going and where there's a very good chance it's going to get a reaction off of. Again, our whole approach is we don't know how big of a reaction it's going to be. Um, Sometimes you can get a real good move off of it, but sometimes it might just be a little retracement. um, you know, there's ways of changing the chances of getting a good move opposed to just a little retracement, and that's something we'll go into later. But dealing with bias and whatnot, but we don't want to make it too complicated now. So we're just gonna kind of keep it simple. And so the way that I'm showing you, you can get a retracement and get 3 to 1, as well as getting a big move. You know what I mean? So it kind of works in both cases. That's why I zoom in a lot. So, but as you can see, it did come into the supply area, um, and had a nice reaction off of it. And so we unfortunately didn't get a chance to get into it. So as far as our levels go on AUD USD, we got one level hit and then the other two missed out. Let's get rid of this. So those were our original levels. We didn't catch these two, and that's fine because you're not gonna catch them all. You know, if you get into that mode, then you know you're going to constantly uh, be irritated. This is going to become more stressful than it should be, and so if that's your style, if you deal with stress, if you like stress, you know, if you are, you know, one that loves adrenaline and stuff like that, then that might be your route. Me personally, I try to keep it simple, and so if we miss out, guess what? No loss. We didn't win anything, but we didn't lose anything, and there's going to be a lot more opportunities. And so there's a very good chance that when price gets back up to these levels, as you can see, it really went down far. And so there's a good chance when price gets back up to these levels, there's going to be a bullish um, momentum behind it. And so we're probably not going to use these levels for the future. So we can kind of go ahead and get rid of those as well as the loser. And then we can start looking at some new levels. So, and then in this one, I was going to show you, obviously, we're looking for big moves away from areas that was consolidating, or if we have price going up, if we have price going up and then all of a sudden it starts coming down and breaks this area right here, then that's what we're looking for. So consolidation levels, big moves away from it, or we have price going in one direction and then all of a sudden that momentum changes. These are our signs for supply and demand areas, right? So get rid of that. So it's kind of obvious that there's a nice push down from here. We have a nice push down from here, nice push down from here. Now, this is all one big move, so we might want to go to like a higher time frame so we can kind of see the areas more clearly. So you can see nice push here. So, and here, let me kind of zoom out a little bit for you because we have this green down here. I did go ahead and get that set up because we have these equal lows down here, which means there's going to be a lot of liquidity under here. Liquidity is basically where you know there's orders sitting there just kind of waiting to be touched on, right? And so because you have these basically this double bottom here, there's gonna be orders down here for people that got into trades here. You have swing traders who like to hold on to it a very long time, and then the way that they teach support and resistance is like, you know, when you have an area that gets touched like this, then people expect it to be respected. That's the whole lure into support and resistance. And so they're going to go ahead and have their stop losses down here, and there's a good chance they may look to enter some more down here. Well, once you start understanding the market, what you're going to understand is these equal lows, equal highs, stuff like that, usually indicates areas that's going to be violated. And so what we expect is for price to actually go through this area, and then potentially from there we may start coming back up and working our way back up. Let's actually use this one. From there, we can expect something like this, possibly um, coming back down to test this area right here before shooting up to clear this imbalance right here. Okay, so uh, get this out of here. So yeah, we expect price to continue down some. So that's, we're on a daily chart. Keep that in mind to take out these equal lows here to get this liquidity. So we're still on a down, a bearish momentum in this market. And so when we go back to the 30-minute, we look at areas like this. Hasn't gotten touched yet, so there's a good chance price can come back up here before taking those out. Um, and so we'll go ahead and get this area marked out for you. Now these are some clean moves right here because again, it's been very bearish, but there is a little trick that I wanted to show you guys to kind of start training your eyes to it. So let's go here. If you break out your Heikin Ashi candles, as you can see, they're going to be a lot cleaner as far as like your momentum in the market. And so once you're learning to train your eyes, again, you only want to use these to find the nice moves because it's going to give you the open and the close accurately, but it's not going to give you your well, it's going to give you the highs and lows accurately. Let me correct myself. It's not going to give you the open and close accurately because of how these candlesticks are equated. And so, um, go to our 30-minute chart here. As you can see, you have this nice clean move down here. Price hasn't come back up here yet. And so, that's a good level right there. We have price come down and then it went sideways for a little bit here. So this is another level that you could potentially look at um, right here. And say that's about it right there. So yeah, let's go back to our regular chart. And then what we'll do is take our replay tool and then we'll actually start out on this one. Go down to our 3-minute chart and see all of this imbalance right here. And then we have this candle right here, but that's a little tiny. And so that's really, you know, if you can get it, we're looking at an awesome risk to reward there because what we're looking at 1 pip, right? And so getting you 3 pips is going to get you your 3 to 1 real easy. Um, but again, price could easily push up past that. Um, and then waiting for it to take out all of this imbalance right here is going to, you're really gambling. Like you saw that we missed getting into the one because we were being like, very specific. Well, in this case, we're being super, super specific, right? And so I wouldn't go that route. I would go here with it. And so now we're looking at a stop loss of roughly 5 pips. And so getting 15 pips isn't too bad. And then this is going to take out the majority of this, but um, not all of it. And so it just gives us more of a chance of getting into that move right there. And so that's one level that we have. And then let's go back here. Get to our other level. All right. And go down to our 3-minute chart. And then, as you can see over here, we have a little bit of imbalance left from this move here. So, I mean, we still have some imbalance left. We have a nice little supply area. So we could definitely go with it. Again, you can go with the one candle, kind of small, or you can go with both candles. And so what are we looking at? Almost a 3 pip. And so, or more like 5 or 6 here. Yeah, so close to 5. So yeah, I'd probably go with both of them because this one you're literally looking to clear all that imbalance, which there's a very good chance that it will. But this way, it kind of ensures you're getting in there and you're still looking at a really good stop loss as far as risk to reward goes. And so, yeah, I would go with that. So go back to our 15-minute chart, go back to present time. And that's what we're looking at, those two levels. And then I'd probably say this one as well. You know, if I'm kind of being honest, that looks like a good one. And if we go over to our Heikin Ashi chart, as you can see, that's a nice little move down. It had a little bit of like pause in the middle, but it is a nice little push down. Let's check something real quick though. And we haven't quite gotten back up to this area. So yeah, if I would look at this level, I would look somewhere in this area. Could we get up here? Yeah. Look, just for this series, because now we're getting a little bit more into like the advanced part of it, which ultimately, before the series is over, we are going to touch on, you know, all of the stuff that we look for. Again, the easy part is going to be learning how to find these levels, managing the levels, and you know the intricacies and stuff like that of reading the chart is a lot more complicated than just, hey, big move down, that's where we're going to go. So ultimately we are going to get more detailed, but for now, we're just going to go with this level here, this nice little push down. And so we'll highlight this, get back over to our regular chart. Now this is why I don't use Heikin Ashis, even though they're clean. I can see the move myself, but it's basically like double work, you know what I mean? Because again, it's not going to give you that real open and close, just the high and lows. And so um, pull this out. And so I would probably go here with it, and then down to our 3 minute chart. And when we look at this, this level here has already been touched. And so I really don't feel too comfortable with this one, because we've already seen a move away from it. I would be a little cautious, but if I was to go with anything, it would be this level here. Okay, because we have this nice push down. We've already pretty much mitigated everything over here, and I'm really not seeing any. Let's turn this on. See, we had a little bit. Yeah, see, as you could see, there was some imbalance right here that was already taken out. And so we still have some imbalance here that hasn't been taken out yet. And then we have a nice little candle here. So yeah, I would roll with this area before going here. So that's what we'll do. Get back to our 15-minute chart. Back to present time. And now we can get rid of the shaded areas. And so that's what we would be looking at as far as AUD USD goes right now. Again, we do expect price to push down below here. So, you know, if they're looking for a reason to do that, right now we have a little bit of liquidity above here. Uh, these little swings right here, because this is where people put their stop losses on their way down. Uh, when they're trailing it, they'll move it down, and so you have orders kind of sitting here ready to go. So if they want to go ahead and run those, there's a chance that they can kind of hit here, come down. If they want to run this one before pushing down, then there's a good chance it'll get up to this area. So these are the three levels we're looking at right now. Again, with the expectation of price pushing down below here. Once it does push below here, can it keep going? Absolutely, because you have a little swing here, and then you have this low here. So So ultimately, that could be the target. Um, I don't expect it to go down too much more because the dollar has been super bullish, but it's reaching a high right now that we should see some type of pullback. So I would expect it to kind of run these lows here and then start working its way back up. And as you can see on this daily chart, there's a big imbalance right here that it probably wants to go and kind of fill. So um, on the way up, you have the levels we just made. And so, yeah, we would expect a little push down here and then coming back up. So just to visualize that again, we may see something like this push down with push back up, down, and then working our way back up to ultimately clear out some of this right here. So that's what we're looking at on AUD USD. Let's go ahead and move over to gold. Um, already have same type situation going over here. As you can see, these double bottoms down here. Liquidity, like we was just talking about with AUD USD, and as you can see, it ran that. But let's go back here because when we left off, I actually felt very uneasy because I felt like there was some misinformation that I gave you. And when I went back and looked at it, it was. And so just to kind of bring price back to here, because, and if you go check out that video again, you'll see I gave you an example right here. Let's actually bring price back to there, actually, and go down to our 3 minute chart. And so I gave you this example of a confirmation trade, right? And so I was saying price comes down from this level here, and then we come back up, and then we're able to trade off that. And the thing is, there's a specific rule to this, and that's why I felt uneasy, like, because I know it was there. When I went back and like checked it out again, I'm not trading these, and so it's not something that I did in real time. But I know when I went back to look at it, I saw a confirmation trade that was very obvious. Um, and when we have these levels and we're expecting to push down from these levels, we can look for these types of trades as well. So the rule is when we're looking for a confirmation trade, we have to have a change of character in the market. What's a change of character? We have our higher highs, higher lows, stuff like that. As far as like how price moves, right? Well, change of character is once we get a higher high, we're looking for that to be like the higher low to be broken. Okay. So let's just get rid of price real quick and and just get a clean little space right here. So if we have higher highs and higher lows taking place, and then all of a sudden we get a break of this low, this is usually a sign that the momentum has changed, right? When you talk about your trend trading, your trend is higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows. And then when you get a break of that higher low, that's your sign that the trend has now went from bullish to bearish, right? Well, there's fake outs that take place in the market. So that's not necessarily always going to be the case, but that's usually the first sign of a trend changing. And so that momentum change is what we look for in, when you're learning how to read price, that's usually telling us, yeah, the momentum has changed. So what's the next step? Well, a lot of times the banks have to mitigate their orders because of the momentum change, right? They've been buying, 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 and now everything is now selling. Well, they have to get out of these buys that are up here so that they can start the sales, right? So usually price is going to return to this area right here before it starts making its move down. Okay. So when we're doing our confirmation trades, that's what we're looking for, is a change of character. Now, in the example that I pointed out in the last video, that hadn't happened yet. So let's bring price back. As you can see, we have um, a high here, pull back. We have a higher high. So now this is our low, right? And that ultimately pushed up to here, right? And so let's just kind of get rid of this stuff so you can see it clearly. And we can kind of get rid of that. You already know what happened there. Um, and we'll get rid of that as well. This is the trade that I should have pointed out. And so I'll just kind of leave that there. But as you can see, when price came up here, okay, and this was the trade that I showed you, so that was wrong. So we'll get rid of that. But when price came, this was our high right here. Okay. Uh, that was our high. Now, when that high got broken, this is now our low. So now we're waiting for this level here uh, to be broken as far as our change of character. Okay. And so until that low is broken, we're still bullish. Okay. So let's go ahead and now we get broken there, right? So now we come back up to here to where this move originated from. Now, what we're looking at is this level right here. We have this wick here, but we have this move right here. So you can do it a couple of ways. You could go down to your 1 minute chart and you can see this is your last up move. And so we can go from the high again, because we always want to protect ourselves from that high. And then go here, right? And then go back to the 3 minute chart. And as you can see, that's the trade that we're looking at right here. And so now if we come back again, we know we've changed the character. So it was bullish. Now we have new character in the market, because now you see a high, you see a lower high, you see a low, you see a lower low, right? And before we was making higher highs and higher lows, now we're making lower highs and lower lows. And so we have a change of character. I hope that makes more sense now as far as the verbiage for those who aren't familiar. I'm sure some of you guys are already kind of aware of some of the verbiage and the characterization of higher highs and higher lows and lower highs. But yeah, the change of character is there. And so now what we would expect is, if this is a real change of character, then we shouldn't violate these highs anymore. Okay. And so when price comes back up, we should get a move into here for them to mitigate all those orders. And then that's when we should start seeing our push down, right? And so go ahead and let's just slow it down slightly. Okay, and then we look to hit it. And then as you can see, when it got into there, it immediately pushed down. If you look at the wick, like it got in there and there was an immediate push down. If we go down, we had 1 minute in, next minute out, and it returned for a quick second, but then the push down was there. And so, and then this is your 3 to 1 right here. Now, because it moved from here, or excuse me, it moved from here up to here, you can target this low right here. Okay, so 6.54. and I do believe it made it down there. But again, for the series, we're just keeping it basic 3-to-1 trades, but you could target that low, and it didn't quite get there. Um, but by the time it got, you could at least got out here. Um, if you're if you know how to trail your trades, and so a little over three. But yeah, so anyway, I just again I didn't feel easy. My whole thing is transparency. I don't want to cherry pick and all that kind of stuff. And I know I saw the trade when I was looking back at the level getting touched originally. I saw it, and but when I got done with the video, I was like something wasn't right there. When I went back and looked at it, it was like, yeah, you kind of jumped the gun as far as the example goes. But yeah, I know the move was in this area, and so yeah, there you go. That would have been a confirmation trade as far as what we uh the verbiage that we use at Seven Kings Trading is a confirmation trade because we're letting price come down and confirming that we have a change of character, and then it comes back up and then it pushes down. So let's go to our 15-minute chart, get out of here, and then we're gonna go where we left off was this trade here. So again, we broke even on that original trade over there. You go back again, I just erased it. So it's not here, but you go back and check that out. If you did a confirmation trade, you could have gotten that. But we ultimately broke even as far as that level. We won this one, and then we ultimately broke even here. We got a 2-to-1, and then as soon as it hit that 2-to-1, and if we kind of zoom in, spring price back over here, if we go down to our 3-minute chart, as you can see, like it came up and just pricked that 2-to-1 and then went back. So that was another break even trade there. Um, and then it pushed up, which is kind of like irritated. Like after it came down, and it would have taken us out, and then it actually had a nice push up after that. Um, which those can be a little irritating because again, the level was right. They just went and snatched up some liquidity and stuff like that ahead of time. So anyway, let's go here, go back to present time, and then here you had some equal lows here, and you could have looked for a trade off of this, and just to kind of point out what we would look for and why we wouldn't have ended up trading it is because when we go in there to find it now, can you go down to a 15-second, 30-second chart? Yes. I don't really do that because the smaller time frames gives you a way to ultimately pinpoint stuff, but the weaker the levels are on those smaller time frames is also true. So, 3 minutes again, that's my sweet spot. I will go down to a 1 minute chart, especially on like the confirmation trades, because usually we're looking at smaller moves. But I don't really go down any lower than a minute. And so I used to actually pay for the trading view for that. And it just seemed a little, um, it was a waste because I didn't need it. So I'm not going to use it. So when we look at our levels here, if we go down to a 3-minute chart, as you can see, wick, right? Um, wick as well. Go down to our 1-minute chart, wick, right? Wick as well. So we really didn't have anything to like trade off of as far as this level went. We did know there was some they were relatively equal lows, and so there was going to be some liquidity under it, and so it was going to run that liquidity, but we didn't have any reason to trade it. Now, if we go back here, because this is another level that we would be looking at some equal lows on, because we have this low, another relatively equal low. And when you look at it on a daily chart, da, 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 as you can see, they're pretty even right there. So we knew there should be some liquidity that they look to take here. I think it just ran straight through it. Here we did get a reaction off of it, and if we were to look for a level to trade off here, go down to our 3 minute chart. Da, 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 da. Unlike the level above, we do have some areas down here that we would look to trade off of. We have this candle here. If we go down a little further, as you can see, we do have this move to here and some. Let's get rid of the drawing real quick. So we have some imbalance on this 1 minute chart. And so we would go from here to here. We bring our drawing back, and that would be what we would look to go off of there. And again, this is hindsight. Just kind of, I was sick, and so I did still look at the charts and stuff like that just to kind of make sure that I was following what was going on. I just wasn't feeling cool, and I didn't want to be sniffling and sneezing while I was recording and stuff. So didn't get recorded. This series isn't going to be a hindsight series. Let's be clear. I just wanted to point this out. Um, and so if we go back to our 15-minute chart, and as you can see, when price got to this level here, we did get a small reaction off of it. But again, we had no candles to really pinpoint where we would get the reaction. So nothing here. But when we got down here, this is that level that we were just looking at. And so as you can see, price came into it and had a nice move up. That would have been an easy 3 to 1 for sure. Bang. And so 3 to 1 would have been easy. Looked like what, from the time that it hit it, came down into it here, so about an hour, hour and a half, something like that, to where we would have got that one. So but again, not going to focus too much on that because we didn't have that level. We knew that, we would get a reaction off here, but ultimately this is where we are real time. Again, we expect it to run down here. We go back to our daily. We expected it to run these lows. It can come down a little bit lower to take care of this. And so we will go ahead and get a level here. We would be looking at it to run some more liquidity underneath this level. We can get rid of this now. Then we can get rid of these levels as well. All right, go back to our 15-minute chart and see what we have here. So we have a nice little push down from here. So we can go ahead and highlight this area here. We have some imbalance here with this candle here, big wick up here. So I'm actually gonna highlight that wick because I'm sure when we go down to the lower time frames, we should be able to find something inside of there. So I'm gonna highlight that wick, and if we don't find nothing, then we know right below it we should have something. But we have all this imbalance here that we should be looking to come back and take care of from this nice push down, and then again we do have this level here. I'm not sure if we'll be able to get a level on the 3 minute chart. Let's see how far back that is. February, we might be able to get to the 3 minute on that. So let's see. Yeah, cool. So what are we looking at here? Again, it's big wick right here, so I wouldn't really, there's nothing in here. There's some imbalance here, but they're going to be looking to run these lows. And so there's a good chance if we wanted to trade this, it's going to push through that. So not something that I would look to, I wouldn't be looking for a trade here simply because, again, this little bit of imbalance right here. Let's go down to a 1 minute. Will it let us? No. Yeah, that's the one sucky thing I hate about trading view. But anyway, go back to the 15-minute chart. So I wouldn't be looking for anything in this area just because I can't really see any data that tells me that it's a good chance of it reversing there. So I wouldn't look to really touch anything there. And so I'd be looking here, and just to kind of show you what that would look like on the Heikin Ashi chart. Uh, Big push here, very clean push there. So that area I like a lot. Um, let's highlight this. And then you have this big wick and a nice push down here. So both of these levels are definitely clean levels. And so again, just the Heikin Ashi kind of shows you a cleaner view if you want to start training your eyes for seeing it. But now let's get into pinpointing so we can finish this video up. We're, yeah, 40 minutes. This video was a lot more educational. And, we had to kind of get back to some stuff because I was missing in action. So let's go here, kind of see where we're at. We got a little bit of imbalance there, not a whole lot, nothing to really be too excited about. Above it, not a whole lot, but I do see this level here that hasn't been touched, and so I would probably look for something up here instead of right here. Um, so I'm gonna get rid of that. Matter of fact, I'll leave that there just so we can see. If it does want to push off of this, you have this imbalance here, but there's relatively equal highs right here, so there's some liquidity above there, so it could run that liquidity up to this level here and then push down. And so I would probably go with this, so here with it. And if we go to a 1 minute chart, wonder what it looks like there. Let's kind of go here. Yeah. And so when we go here, we have some imbalance here with this candle here. So let's actually go there to there. And so I'll be looking at that level. And let's go to that next one. And what's going on? Yeah, there we go. All right. So go back a little bit more. 2 or 3 minute chart. Like I said, when we get inside of that wick, we could see a little bit more going on here. And so this candle here would probably be what I would be focused on more. Right in here. And then if we go down to a 1 minute chart, no imbalance up here, but this is a nice clean, what they call order block right here, that candle. And I mean, it has been touched. And so again, it's not the cleanest considering we don't have any imbalance there. But it was where the move originated and pushed down, so I am gonna go ahead and go with that level here. And so that's what we'll be looking at for gold. So we have this level here that we expect a liquidity hunt. And so let's go ahead and kind of just put that there. Liquidity. So we expect a liquidity hunt underneath there. We've already ran these lows here. That's why this green area is here. So there was a liquidity hunt there. We can see a pushback up to clean up some of this. Um, Again, we might miss this level because as you can see, the imbalance is here. We got a nice little candle here, the last up move, but we have this big wick, and so that does give me a little confidence that it will get into there before making this move down, and then once it starts making its push up, there's a chance that it can have a nice little reaction off this area up here. So these will be our levels for gold. So we have these two levels for gold, and then these three levels for AUD USD. Uh, we can clean this up a little bit here. Again, I'm going to leave that one. Get rid of that. And get rid of that. So I'm going to leave this because, again, if we do get a push up and it misses this level, it's going to get into this level. So I'm just going to leave that there for the sake of, you know, showing you that, the levels are consistent. It's just I'm a little bit more exact with my entries. And so I'm hoping it can get up to here before it pushes down, and then here before it pushes down. So that's what we're looking at. Again, do apologize for the video being so long and not being able to really touch on the moves down, but a little sick. Still a little sick, but feeling a lot better. So figured I'd get this knocked out for you guys. And yeah, we were able to kind of show you a little trick as far as the Heikin Ashi, getting your eyes trained on looking at these levels. Again, if we were to go to it right now and just kind of zoom out, as you can see, it's just real clean, right? You could see the real big pushes. And so got a little trick there. And then, yeah, we did kind of touch on liquidity a little bit. And so, and cleared up that other trade. Again, I didn't feel easy with giving that misinformation, so I apologize for that as well. But again, we did show you the legitimate trade using that concept and that strategy. So you could go back and check that out. And we'll touch on that more in the future. But yeah, let's go ahead and get this ended. If you're getting value out of this, definitely subscribe so that you know when we're putting the next video out. Like as well so that we can get the algorithm to start, really pushing this good education and, see if we can counter some of that trash that's out there. That being said, you guys have a wonderful day. I'm looking forward to the draft tomorrow. Might be doing another video. I got a review coming that I did a little while ago. Was able to finally get it edited, and so that should be coming out today or tomorrow. But yeah, looking forward to this draft tomorrow. Go Niners. Debo Samuel is acting foolish right now. So a lot of drama. But anyway, whole nother story. Again, if you guys are getting value, like, subscribe. That being said, y'all have a wonderful time out there trading. Peace out.